All right. Hey, everyone. First of all, I really appreciate you guys coming out. It's the end of the day. This is a pretty fun task, but it is getting close to the end of the day, so really appreciate you taking out the time. I'm super excited to do this because myself, I'm actually not a technical person at all. Like, I'm a business guy, so I'm excited to make myself feel smart teaching you guys how to build an Alexa skill without coding. But before we start, has anyone heard of Storyline? If you want to put your hands up. All right, so for the people that have used or have heard of Storyline, this is going to be super basic, so I wouldn't mind if you left because it's like right off the bat. Another show of hands, has anyone built an Alexa skill before? Besides the Storyline people, put your hands down. Cool. So this workshop's going to be super simple. We're going to get right off the bat on how to build an Alexa skill. We're also going to, you don't need your computers. I'm going to guide you guys through it. So I'm feeling a little bit under the weather, but if I'm going too fast or too slow, just let me know. Any questions, you can interrupt me anytime. And another thing, I want you guys to actually think of some Voice Summit trivia facts, because I was in and out today, so I'm going to tell you why we need that in a second. But without further ado, let me tell you a little bit more about myself. So I'm 21 years old. I'm from Toronto, Canada. Here's a little bit of some of my experiences. I've launched like the Xbox One campaign in Canada, then did some hybrid cloud work in IBM. But it's something that really got me into voice was my gig at Tribal Skill, where I grew their venture studios, and I actually built a voice company within Tribal Skill's venture studios. And it was actually a super exciting experience because I learned a ton about voice, but also learned that it's literally the future. And I'm excited to show you guys how to get started on that. And then here's some of the brands that I've worked with in the past. But why should you guys develop voice skills? So another show of hands, who's from Fortune 500? Who works for Fortune 500? Cool. Curious to know what you guys are in there, and we'll have a separate conversation. But for the rest of you guys, I assume we're a mix of designers, product managers, probably startups. Anyone that kind of wants to get their foot in the door with voice. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that. I know I'm really I'm keeping you guys from that, but kind of want to tell you a little bit more about Storyline. Storyline is a platform that was created by actually people my age, so I've got a lot of catching up to do. They went through Y Combinator. Their names are Vasily and Maxime. And they recently secured a round of funding. It was for $750K. So what they're doing is really great. They have very engaged Facebook community. Encourage you guys to join, but we'll get to that in a bit. But the reason why I kind of want to get you guys embedded into this ecosystem is that literally a 7-year-old can do it, and a 7-year-old did do it. He created an Alexa skill, and it just shows how simple this is to use. And then just a little bit more of a sell on Storyline. I don't work for Storyline, but they're just amazing. They have over 2,500 skills published on the Amazon Skill Store themselves. So the Amazon Skill Store has around 25,000 skills, so that's almost 10%. So these guys are really capturing the market share. It's really easy to make a skill with them. So why don't we just get started? So the website is getstoryline.com. I'm going to show you guys how to do it. So yeah, that's how the website looks like. So to sign up, you just hit the sign up button. And then it'll ask you to log in with your Google account. I assume all you guys have Google accounts, so not much rocket science there. And once you sign in, the first screen you'll see is this screen. So it's a blank screen. There's a bunch of resources that they set you up with getting started, introduction to block steps, which I'll get into. But like, if you guys try this at home or even now, be sure to check out the Getting Started stuff. Their Intercom Help Center has a lot of resources to make you build cool, simple skills to really complex skills. So encourage you guys to check that out. But for now, we're just going to hit the Create Skill button. And then you have two options. There's custom skills and flash briefings. So we're not going to do flash briefings today, but flash briefings essentially, when you ask Alexa, what's my flash briefing, you get news to your the daily fix. So you can actually make a flash briefing out of this platform, so super cool. So yeah, new custom skill. So you hit continue. You can see right off the bat they've really kind of laid out some templates for you and some that are coming down the line. Sounds, radio, story, trivia. There's a lot of things coming down the lines. But for now, the reason why I asked you guys to think of some Voice Summit facts is we're actually going to do a trivia app just for fun, just because it's the end of the day. Let's lighten the tone a little bit. So the first thing you would want to do is enter your skill name. So that would be your invocation name. That would be like Alexa open blah blah blah. So let's call it Voice Summit Trivia. Whoops. And then something important to note is that here are all the supported languages that Storyline supports. So yeah, you can do French, German, the other languages, but all the English-speaking countries are represented too. But keep in mind if you are developing an application, the country that you pick, if you wanted to test out your application, let's say, like I was trying to launch a US skill, but I picked Canada because I'm from Canada, I couldn't test out how it would be to the Americans. So keep that in mind when you're making a skill. So we're gonna hit English USA and we're gonna get started. So how Storyline works is it's a pretty intuitive drag and drop tree diagram kind of thing. So if you think about your voice experience, there'd be tree diagrams. Essentially, that's kind of what voice is right now. Obviously, it's evolving with more AI and stuff like that, but in essence, it's tree diagrams. So they've kind of really laid these 4 blocks out you so that you don't fail certification. And so you guys don't know what certification is. If you submit a skill through Amazon's App Store, Alexa Store, Amazon has to approve it just like any other application. So they really help you with that. They give you 4 starting blocks. So there's a welcome block, there's a stop block, there's a help block, and there's that no block, which we'll get into. But essentially, you just to get yourself familiar when you first open up, you'd probably just want to play around with things. The arrows mean to the next trees, but we'll get into that in a second. But just take some time to play with it when you try it at home. You can hide the connectors if you're working with a lot of stuff. I'll show you guys why that's important later. Zoom in and out. This is to make a new block. So just showing that off, and then you can delete a block after. And then, so let's just start into this application experience. So let's go to the welcome block. Welcome to Voice Summit Trivia. So right now they have the help and stop blocks, but that's about it. So let's make this a little bit cooler. So let's say, would you like to play some trivia? Ooh, I don't know why I keep typing trivia. So obviously, when you want to edit it, you see these little icons. So that's the echo icon. That means that's what Alexa is going to say. And then these little person icons is what the user would say. So right now, only the help and stop options are being taken care of, but you kind of want to do what actually you're trying to do. So would you like to play some trivia? We're going to hit yes and hit enter. We're also going to have no, because if they don't want to play trivia, you hit no. So we have those 2 responses taken care of, but we don't actually have the block to reflect that. So we're going to do that in a second. But before that, I know some people, when they talk to their Alexas or whatnot, you might say something that's not, that's out of the ordinary. And you might say yes in a certain way, you might say no in a certain way. So there's something called handling unexpected responses, and that's basically adding variations of what the user says. So the user says, let's say they start speaking French randomly, so they say oui. Actually, that's not how you say it, oui. Yeah, you have to kind of sound it out. So that would handle that response. And then similarly, you would do that for no. But Alexa usually does a pretty good job of handling yes and no's. But when it gets to other things, you probably want them to take care of that. And then there's something called else if, or handling unexpected user reply. Let's say they say something totally gibberish. You'd want that to be kind of taken care of as well. So let's say if they say something gibberish, then you would have that taken care of. So we had those situations handled. Let me just. keep that there for now. So we have the basic foundation of our trivia application right off the bat. But so to handle this, for the yes, you would hit create a new block, and that would create a new block with an arrow connected to it. And now it's starting to get a little messy, so I'm going to move things around a little bit to give myself some space to work with. And if the user says yes, we're going to ask them the first trivia question. So does anyone have a trivia question that they would like to enlighten us with? I'll start us off. I'll say, where is Voice Summit 2018 taking place? And then the right answer is obviously New Jersey or Newark. Wrong answer is Toronto. Another wrong answer is London. So those are the kind of three responses. 2 of them are wrong, 1 of them are right. So you would want to make a block for the right answer, and the 2 wrong ones you'd kind of want to have like a no block or like a wrong block. So let's make the wrong block right now, and I'm going to show you something as you're working. So this is a blank block right now. It's not connected to anything. And let's call it, if you double click this, you can rename the block. It's good for when you're working on stuff. You can like remember what it means. So let's just say wrong answer. And then Alexa would say wrong, try again. So let's connect Toronto and London to that block. So once you start getting a lot of blocks, you'd want to hit this arrow button and start typing it up. So wrong answer. Same thing with London. Wrong answer. Is everyone following so far? Am I going too fast? Cool. So yeah, that's the wrong answer. And as we do more trivia questions, it'd be kind of cool. You just have them all connect to that one block. So super intuitive. And then let's make a right answer block. So you can also connect this to a new block as well, like I mentioned. And you would hit correct. Next question. And we'll do one more question for fun. How many days is Voice Summit? So something I forgot to do here in my trivia app is also giving the options. So is it Newark? Is it Toronto? Or is it London? Is it 3 days? Is it 10 days? Is it for life? Technically, that's the right answer. So there's 3 days, 3 days, 10 days. So this is also where you would want to start adding variations, because let's say someone answers that question, I would probably answer that saying 10, while someone else would say 10 days. So that's where you'd want to say 3. And 10, you'd want to say, for example, 10. And you get the picture when you do something like that. So let's just connect these to the wrong answers. And then 3 days would go to a new block. So this will be the end of our makeshift trivia. Let's, let's make a new block saying you won the trivia. come back. You won the trivia. And since we already have a stop block, I was just going to make this connect to the stop block. So you need a stop block to get certified through Amazon, like I mentioned before. So just quickly come back tomorrow to play the experience again. Just say Alexa, open voice summon trivia to open the skill again. That's a pretty good one. So let's just connect that to the stop block. And bam, in a couple of minutes, we basically got a whole trivia app created. Let's just take care of the else. So from the beginning, we put an else function. So let's handle that response. Let's say, I didn't quite get that. Did you want to play some trivia? And we'll connect that to the yes block. We'll connect that to the no block. And then you can add another else if that loops to itself, so it keeps asking that till they do it properly. So yeah, that's kind of our application as a whole, but we're not even close to being done yet. There's probably tons of errors, but that's why Storyline kind of put its own feature for people that don't have Echo devices. We do have an Echo device, so we'll get to that in a second. But there's this play button over here where you can play in browser and you can actually interact with your skill in browser. So it's pretty cool. I was pretty excited. Hello? Oh yeah. I was pretty excited when I first saw about it. So let's just try out our skill from the get-go. So you hit that play button, and then you can start from where you want to test it from, but we'll start from the beginning. And if we find errors, then we would focus on that part and see what the error is. So let's just hit play.
Welcome to Voice Summit Trivia. Would you like to play some trivia?
Whoops. Wow. Well, let's try that again.
Welcome to Voice Summit Trivia. Would you like to play some trivia?
And here to think that the demo gods were with me.
Welcome to Voice Summit Trivia. Would you like to play some trivia?
Is this sound working? Is the sound working? There we go. Okay, let's try that again.
Welcome to Voice Summit Trivia. Would you like to play some trivia?
Yes. I don't know what I'm talking to. Yes. Yes. Sorry? I think the mic is on my computer.
Welcome to Voice Summit Trivia. Would you like to play some trivia?
Yes. Well, that's cool. So this actually does work, but that's why there's also another function, and that's why I have this Echo device with me right now. So once you have kind of your application figured out, there's a bunch of other steps along the way. So the first thing we're actually going to do is hit this upload to Alexa button, and this doesn't mean it's published to the store yet. You're basically using whatever canvas that you've made. That's going to translate that into code and send it to basically Alexa's cloud so that they understand it. But I haven't really connected my Alexa account with anything, so let's hit upload to Alexa and see what happens. It says, please connect your Amazon developer account in order to upload your skill to Alexa. So I actually already have one, but I'm going to tell you guys how you make one. Basically, If you have an Amazon account already, you can make a developer account. It's super simple. It's just like one form process. You go to developer.amazon.com and you just enter a bunch of information. So I'm going to hit connect to Amazon. And then I'm going to sign into this Amazon account. And hit sign in. Whoops. Oh man. Tell me if I'm getting a letter wrong. That's fine. Does anyone have any questions so far? Yeah. Yeah, so that's a great question, and I think the way I would handle that situation is using the handle unexpected reply. So basically, if the question was wrong, you just put it to a wrong block, and then get them to try again. It's a problem when you have too many accounts. Did I not enter them right? I think I wrote them down somewhere. Oh, I'm using the wrong account. Perfect. Please work. Oh man. Anyone got any other questions while I figure this out? Sorry? Okay. Yes. Thank you. So yeah, you hit allow. I think this day and age we should probably read all the fine print, but so while it's setting that up, basically they're just connecting your two accounts, your Storyline account and your Amazon account. And now it's uploading to Alexa, so that spinny wheel stuff, it should take around 30 seconds to 2 minutes, depending on the complexity of the skill. And that's going to go up to Amazon's cloud, and I'll show you basically how that's up there in a second. But once it is, you can actually prototype your skill from your Echo. The only condition is that your Echo has to be on the same Amazon account as when you set it up, which mine is right now. So once that is actually being done right now, I think something else to talk about is that Storyline has also added a publishing tab where you can put your publishing information right from here. Normally you'd do it on the Amazon page, but Storyline would just transfer that information on to the Amazon page. So obviously you have your public name and your skill and vacation name, and then they lay out some templates for you. Voice Summit Trivia is a skill to help you blah 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 for the one sentence short description, and then there's a detailed description, some variations of the phrases. Basically when you do this on the shopping screen, you'll see these different templates, and then you have your small skill icon, large skill icon. So you're going to need both of these when you're submitting your skill, and they tell you the parameters here: 108 by 108 and 512 by 512. For demo purposes, I actually have some icons, so forget if that was small. That was small. So let's throw the small one up there. Let's throw the large one up there. and then there's the categories, and then some stuff that Amazon needs. So basically, they made it super simple for you. Just go through that form process as you're making your skill, and then once you're done, once this is done, you would eventually then hit submit when you're totally done with your skill. So while we're waiting for that, I'm not sure what's taking so long, but while we're waiting for that, I kind of want to open the doors a little bit to tell you about what Storyline is beyond. Oh, it's done. I'll just finish my thought here, but beyond just this. So we made basically a pretty dumb trivia app, but the opportunities to do a lot more with Storyline are pretty endless. Like, they have an audio player feature where you can throw sound effects there, and I can show you a skill that I built that I put some sound effects on. You can build a story. You can basically this is a canvas, and your imagination can run wild with the kind of applications that you can build with them. And there's some cases of actually Storyline successes with the platform. So this green check mark, it says uploaded to Alexa just now. So why don't we just try it out right now? Alexa, open Voice Summit Trivia.
Welcome to Voice Summit Trivia. Would you like to play some trivia?
Yes.
Where is Voice Summit 2018 taking place? Is it New York? Is it Toronto or is it London?
London.
Wrong. Try again.
Yeah, so I forgot to actually loop that function, but essentially you can literally try out your application from the browser or on your Echo. I like to sometimes do it on my Echo because it feels more real, and it uses the right voice. But essentially, you're a master of your own destiny when it comes to Alexa skills with Storyline. Yeah, so that was just a little bit of how you can build a skill. A very simple one from the application. But as you guys go home and try this out a little bit more, go through Storyline's videos and some of its help articles, you can start to add some real complexity. And people are building businesses out of Storyline now. Agencies are starting from Storyline. People that don't know how to code, or even people that do know how to code, but this just adds such a easy fluidity to it. So. I just wanted to show a skill that I built. It was pretty simple to make, and it's getting a lot of usage. It's called Fortnite Daily Tips. I know Fortnite's such a huge thing right now. I love playing Fortnite. I tried to cash in on the Fortnite hype. I was hoping I would. I'm getting some active users, but not enough. But essentially, I don't know what's wrong with the loading here, but essentially this is the whole application. I'm basically I'm telling them welcome to Fortnite. There's a little theme song that plays, and then saying, are you ready to hear a tip? You say yes or no. Once it says yes, it pulls from a spreadsheet of different tips that I update daily with different tips that you can try out. And then basically I give the illusion to users that they're getting a new tip every day, even though it's just a random variations of the different tips on the sheet. So we can try that out right now if you guys want. So Alexa, open Fortnite Daily Tips. Wow. Alexa, open Fortnite Daily Tips.
Welcome to Fortnite Daily Tips.
It's a little cool theme song that plays. Yes.
Don't pick up everything. Among the best habits you can make as you advance your Fortnite career is to be discerning about what you pick up and what you leave behind. It's tempting to snapshot everything you come across because you never know when you might want to see.
Yeah, it's just gonna blabble on a little bit. Like if you play Fortnite, you'll probably understand the references. Alexa, stop. Oh, there's a closing message. I don't know what happened. It works, but essentially, like that skill took me pretty like probably 10 minutes max to make, not counting the errors that I got into along the way. But You'll get better from theirs over time, but essentially, it's pretty easy to make a skill and pretty easy to get a skill out there. So that skill is available in the US, Canada, and the UK. So what I like to also talk about, so I'll go back to my slides here. What I also like to talk about with Storyline and with using this is that part of voice is also being the future of businesses and how brands communicate, but also the future of voice is also kind of like if you think creators can get on voice a little bit more. And Amazon actually has developer awards right now. There are serious developers, voice developers that don't know how to code, but they use Storyline, that are making tons of money from very engaging skills because Amazon's actually paying developers developer awards to make Alexa skills. So it's like YouTube. When you make YouTube videos, you get paid out for that. So there's a lucrative opportunity here. So kind of some of the benefits of Storyline is that it's free. There is a premium feature for flash briefings, but that I think you would get to that when you're a little bit more advanced. There's also an amazing community behind you. They're always trying to improve the product. And then there's actually engagement tools. Let me actually show you some of the engagement tools. I actually forgot about that. So for this, for the Fortnite one, if I go back to my main dashboard over here, there's a full chart of like usages. So users, this is about my Fortnite skills. So my Fortnite skills over here. There's 836 sessions that were open, 1615 interactions, and 157 users. This skill was made a month ago, so I guess it's okay. But they give you this whole like you can change the period, and you can see the engagement of your skill along the time. But also you can also check Amazon's version of your engagements too. So if you go to the developer console and you hit sign in, you go to the Amazon Alexa developer portal, and you look at your skill, and you would see different analytics as well on it. Once you get more comfortable with the Amazon platform, you would see a lot more information that sometimes Storyline wouldn't show. But Storyline gives you a very good high level overview about how your skill is doing. As you can see, mine looks like a stock market. But yeah, so those are some cool things that Storyline offers. Some other things, I don't know if you guys have met Adva yet, but she won the DevPost Hackathon by Amazon, and that her skill was built and prototyped with Storyline. So Storyline's very good for individuals. It's also great for brands. It's also good for Fortune 500s that want to kind of start MVPing or prototyping internally some of the applications, and can challenge some of the vendors out there that are probably charging very premium fees for very simple features that you could probably do on Storyline or similar. So something to think about. And these are some of the competitors in the space. Just a very small landscape of them. Obviously, this is like a matrix, so there's different targets and whatnot. But I think I'm going to leave it at there in terms of the demo itself and the presentation, but I'm happy to take any questions if people are wondering about the platform, if you can do certain things, if you can't, or just your thoughts on the space. Like I'm happy to open the floor now if there are any questions. Yeah, back there. Find the skill. Yeah, that's a great question, and voice strategy is still kind of being figured out, and there's a lot of sessions on how to get better in your voice marketing strategy, your voice search strategy. The number one rule that I know about Alexa skills is that if your skill has a lot of 5-star reviews, it's likely to be higher in the Amazon App Store. It gets pushed to the top. So for example, my Fortnite skill has a bunch of 5-star reviews, but there are a lot of there's a lot of Fortnite applications that also have 5-star reviews. So I'm trying to get up on the first page. So I'd ask a lot of people to bring 5 stars reviews. Since the space is still relatively new, there isn't, for me at least as an individual, a very comprehensive, like, no-brainer marketing strategy yet. A lot of people on the Storyline community, so that's the beauty of the Storyline community. A lot of people are trying different things. People have tried Facebook ads with their skills, and apparently it works out, especially with the $10 free credit that you get from Facebook. So I personally haven't found something that's like a rule yet, but people are trying a lot of different things. For me, the number one rule that I know right now is the more 5-star reviews you have, the more likely you are to get pushed on top. Yeah. Yeah, if I understand your question properly, are you basically asking if you can, like Alexa can understand what you're saying, essentially? Yeah, no, that's a great point, and that's actually the responsibility of the developer, or in this case, when we're making the application, to think of those situations when they would arise. So if they say something unexpected and it goes and does something else, like, you need to make sure you do enough user testing or think about those situations where a user would say something, or Alexa would mishear you, or the user would say something that sounded similar to something else, and you take care of those variations, which is why there's that add random variations function on Storyline to really take care of those situations. Sorry, what was the question? At the moment, there isn't an automatic one, but when you submit it to the Alexa store and they come back and says your skill failed certification, it usually say something. It's usually generic. They're getting a lot better at it, at pointing out the specific error, but Storyline does have a customer support email address where you just email them your error, you forward them your error, and then they would figure it out quickly, or you post it onto the community, and the community is really fast at responding. No. Exactly. So if I understood your question, are you asking, like, how do you iterate on your product or on your skill? Yeah, I'll actually show you on my Fortnite skill. So right now it is live on the store, but if I wanted to make a change, so I go to Fortnite Daily Tips. So right now I can make whatever change I want to, like, maybe I wanted to add more, maybe wanted to, like, right now the application is a little bit basic, but maybe if I wanted to add some layers of complexity to it, I would add more tree diagrams, whatever, and then I would hit this republish button over here. So it used to say publish, now it says republish, and essentially I already have all my publishing details here, so this should all be the same, and you shouldn't really touch it, but then you would hit republish, and then it would go through the whole process again of Alexa reviewing your application, and then being republished to the store. Okay. Yes. So that's actually an interesting question. So you're saying if it passes certification? Yeah. Great. Okay, now I understand. So this is where you would actually engage with the Amazon Developer Console because they actually have a more sophisticated analytics capability. So if we go to Fortnite Daily Tips and we check out Amazon's analytics on it, you have a lot of different aspects of your skill here. But one you'd probably want to know about is interaction path. And over here it would say like 60 people said yes. And then like it shows the number of people that went through your different diagram flow, and you could see where the user drop-off starts happening. It says abandon here. It says the different variations of what's happening with your application at a very high level, and you can change the numbers and the aggregation period here, and it gives you really a better picture of where you're kind of going wrong or where you can improve on that. Sorry? For the time being, I think so. I'm not sure if Amazon's adding more functionalities to that, but there's retention. It's a lot of numerical statistics for the time being. Yep. Yes. Exactly. So that's actually when I was building, when I was working at Tribal Scale, that was actually an issue that we ran into. And to actually have HTTPS, it costs like $500, I don't know, a month or a year, forgot what it is. But Storyline actually has a great article on how to bring your audio files there. And basically, you just upload your audio file into Dropbox, and Dropbox makes your URL HTTPS. And you basically change the Dropbox URL into a different code. It's called DL Dropbox user content. I can send you the article after this presentation. But basically, Dropbox solves a lot of that issue. Great questions, guys. All right, well, if there's no other questions, I'm going to put my contact information up there. I'm a huge tweeter, so please tweet at me if you have any questions, concerns. And I'm really looking forward to seeing the applications you guys come up with. Once you guys make one, tweet it at me. I'll give you a 5-star review. And let's build a. Yeah, you have a question? Yeah, I'll put it up there. I'll clean it up a little bit, and I'll put it up there. Cool. Thanks a lot, guys. You were amazing.